Hey guys, and a good happy morning to you. Um, it is October the 9th, maybe? No, it is October the 10th. So happy Sunday to you. I know it's been a minute since I made a video, and really, it's because there's so much going on in the world that I'm so unsure of. And my family's been kind of busy these last couple of weeks. We've been doing a lot. We've had a lot of changes. We've had a lot of things that are going on. My husband has switched jobs from one job to a better job. And we've just had a lot of things going on. I've been working with some families in the community and doing different things to help them in these hard times. But my focus is, I guess, on what's going on in the world, and the main thing seems to be the new budget that Biden has passed and the vaccine for COVID. I am unvaccinated. I don't plan on getting vaccinated. I don't plan on doing the vaccine or the booster. None of it makes sense to me. And I have spoken to different people who are pharmacists. I have spoke to different people who are doctors. I've spoken to a couple of people who are nurses. And the whole thing doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me at all. I know they have the chickenpox vaccine, and nowadays that they didn't have when I was growing up. And the whole thing was I was always told if you get chickenpox once, you'll never get it again. Blah blah blah. And I've never had it. I've never gotten it. I've been exposed to it many times throughout my childhood, as well as my children's childhood. I've been exposed to chickenpox numerous times. I can't even count over the years and over the course of my entire life. And I really want to say that when they offered me the vaccine for my children, my oldest one, she didn't need it because she had already had the chickenpox. And so, and I didn't take it. So none of us have ever been vaccinated for chickenpox. And my doctor at the time said, hey, if you've been exposed and never had it, then obviously you don't need a vaccine for it if it's not a problem. And so with my daughter, she didn't need it either because he was her doctor at the time that she had chickenpox, and he said her own natural immunity did what it was supposed to, and she's fine. So with the rest of my kids, they all had it also, and they didn't need the vaccination. So explain to me how, if I've already had Rovid, and I had it from the end of 2019 throughout the very beginning of 2020, and I had the original symptoms. I don't know what this new variant, new BS, new whatever they're making up is now. And so I had Rovid then, and I've been exposed to it several times over the last 2 years, or a year and a half, I guess. It's not been quite 2 years. We're at the end of 21, so it's been almost 2 years. But let me tell you, my husband works at the airport, or he did work at the airport. Again, like I said, he switched jobs. But he was working at the airport and a hospital. Now, you would think the petri dishes of the world, there is not an infection, an outfection, a cold, a sneeze, a fart, a flu. There is nothing that is coming into the United States that doesn't pass through a hospital or an airport. He worked at both. So believe you me, We have been exposed to it all. And like I said, I've already had Rovid. So why in the world do I need the vaccine? And I've always been told that the vaccine is supposed to keep you from getting whatever you're being vaccinated against. I mean, if you go and get a tuberculosis, if you go and get the TB vaccination, you expect to not turn up with tuberculosis. If you go and get the flu vaccine, you expect to not turn up with the flu. If you go and get the mumps, measles, and rubella vaccination, you would expect to not turn up with the mumps, measles, and rubella. So when you come to me and go, hey, we've got a vaccine, it's less than a year old, we want you to take 4 doses, and then every month we want you to take a booster dose, and we're vaccinating you against Rahata, and we want you to keep your mask on, and we want you to keep social distancing, and you can get Rahata, and you can transmit Rahata even after we vaccinate you for Rahata. But don't worry about it. We're going to vaccinate you against Rahata. We're going to keep your mask on. We're going to keep your social distance. We're going to give you 4 Rahata shots. We're going to booster your Rahata vaccination once a month, and you can still get it. You're still gonna you still stay away from people who are unvaccinated, and stay away from people who are vaccinated, because even though you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated with 4 Rahata vaccination shots and a booster, you can still get Rahata, and you can still share Rahata with your family. And by share, I mean spread. But the good news is, if you get Rahata, your symptoms won't be that bad. I'm sorry, why did you get vaccinated? Anyway, so that's what the world seems to be focusing on right now, is this all-star vaccination that they have. They first tried to bribe, then they tried to threaten, then they tried to mandate, then they tried to order, then they tried to bash, bullshit, and I don't even know. I don't even know, guys. I mean, it's like, if you don't get the Rahata shot, screw you. You know? And from what I've heard, if you have the Rahata shot, all 5, 10, 20, however many Rahata shots they think you're supposed to take, then, you know. Now, here's what I don't get. They're saying that they want, you have to have been fully vaccinated against Rahata in order to get, and then you have to wait 6 months in order to get your Rahata booster. Now, my math could be off here, but I'm thinking they didn't come out with they didn't make the vaccine fully available to most normal lay people who weren't, I don't know, the president, the vice president, Nasty Pelosi. They didn't make the vaccine available to people in general until I want to say about April, May. So let's go with May. June, July, August, September, October. Now you're coming up on 6 months in November. But then that depends on exactly when in May that you got your boost, you got your vaccine, your last vaccine. You have to count from your last vaccine. You can't count from your first. It has to be 6 months from your last vaccine, the vaccine that made you fully vaccinated, is what Joe Biden said. Joe Biden said that we have to be 6 months out from being fully vaccinated before you qualify. And I'm telling you, go Google search the speech where he did this. But he said we had to be 6 months out. How is that physically impossible? Or, I'm sorry, how is that physically possible for the majority of people who are fully vaccinated? And how do you know that you have to... I mean, who tested this theory that you have to wait 6 months before you can get your boosters? And then, I thought all shots were referred to as booster shots. So, I mean, when my kids were little, they got booster shots. That's what vaccinations were referred to. You know, you go to the clinic and they go, do you have the kid's booster record? So, what is the difference between a vaccination, a vaccine, and a booster? And how do we know who requires the booster and who doesn't? Now, here's a question. Does everyone who's been fully vaccinated require a booster? Or do just some people who have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, require the booster? And how do we determine who needs or is eligible for the booster? And how much? I mean, when you get a booster, is it one size fits all? When you get a vaccination, is it one size fits all? I mean, because I'm like 4 foot nothing. I mean, seriously, I'm probably barely scraping 5 foot tall. I'm like 4'8". I'm not a really big person, and I weigh in at about 125, 127. Would I get the same amount of measured vaccine dose as, say, a grown-ass man who is 6'2" and 320 pounds? Would me and him get the same dose of vaccine? Or would I get less and he get more, but because of our physicalities, it would work the same? Because I know when you go to the doctor and get prescriptions, like I get prescriptions all the time for different things, from infections to stomach to whatever, because I'm getting up there in age. So I know if I'm going to get like a pain reliever, if I'm going to get codeine 3 or 2 or whatever it is, I don't know, because I don't really get that crap. But I'm just saying, if I'm going to get something with a narcotic in it, am I going to get the same dose as, say, my husband? Or am I going to get the same dose as, say, my 11-year-old, 12-year-old grandson? Am I going to get the same dose as my 2-year-old neighbor? I mean, how do these vaccinations work? Are we all getting the one size fits all and we're just going to assume everybody needs a booster? Or how is this working? I mean, they keep saying follow the science, but the science isn't adding up. And this is also the same science that says there's 43 genders out there. Flipping, really? How many of these 43 genders are out there making offspring on their own? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, like, spew hate speech or anything, because I really don't give a damn if some guy wants to live as a girl or if some girl wants to live as a guy. That is their personal life choice, and I'm not accountable for them. I'm not when I go and meet my maker, I don't have to. My maker is not going to say to me, well, what about them over there? You didn't hold them accountable. No, he's not, because it's not my job to hold them accountable. Everybody has free will, and he gave them their own free will. Now, it's my job to tell them, hey, that ain't cool. You ain't supposed to be doing that. And a lot of times I try to find a nice way to tell them that, but yeah, what they ultimately do is they have to account for that, not me, is all I'm trying to say. So, when you tell me to follow the science, and you say there's 43 genders, I want to see, seriously, I want to see of the transgender society. I would love to see y'all come up with your own kid. I would love to see a guy who used to be a girl make a baby. I would love to see a girl become a guy, or a guy become a girl, and I'd love to see them get pregnant. And I'm not saying that slur to be hateful. I'm just trying to mark what I'm saying here. I would love to see Hernimem get pregnant. I would love to see you put two bulls together. Tell me one identifies as a girl. And see the two bulls get pregnant. And I'm going to let you know it's not going to happen, because I have quite a few, and it's none of your business how many, but I have quite a few guinea pigs, and I can honestly tell you, all my girls are in one cage, and all my boys are in the other, and none of my girls identify as a boy, and my girls aren't in their cage making babies without the guys, and the guys aren't in their cage making babies without the girls. So when you tell me that, you're gender fluent, and you tell me you're trans, and you tell me you've got offspring, I know it's not yours. And if it is, you didn't make it with that partner. You made it with another partner. Or you were artificially inseminated, and kudos to you if that's your thing. But all I'm saying is, I'm saying all that to say this. They keep telling me to follow the science and go get vaccinated. There's no more sense in someone stating that there's 43 genders than there is in someone saying take a vaccine but keep doing what you're doing because the vaccine doesn't work. You're going to tell me that you want me to go take a sip of the Kool-Aid, you want me to go get vaccinated against Rashonda, Rolanda, Rororo, Rorada, whatever the hell it is, we're supposed to be getting vaccinated. And all these years leading up to now, I've been told that the reason you get vaccines is so you don't get whatever's out there that you're getting vaccinated against. You want to have, you want to get your kids vaccinated with the MMR, and like I said earlier, that's the measles, mumps, rubella shot. You want to get your kids vaccinated against tuberculosis. You want to get your kids vaccinated against all this bullshit that's out there, because that lessens their chance of getting it. And I've been told not only does it lessen their chance of getting it, but normally they wouldn't get it, because if everybody's if everybody's got the vaccine, then it wouldn't matter those that don't, because everybody who does, they're protected against it. So my question is, if you are trying to vaccinate against Rona, let's just say Rona, what is the point? I've spent this last month, really, I would be the first one to roll up my sleeve and go get the Rhonda shot if you can explain to me what's the point. First off, let me just say I've never really strapped on the mask in the first place. So I've been exposed to it all. Because I've only, in 2020, I only wore a face covering one time, and it was such a damn thin face covering, it wouldn't have even mattered. If somebody in there had the Rona, was exposed to the Rona, so was I. Because my face covering at that time was so paper thin, it didn't even matter. But the one time did I wear a face covering, and that's when I went to the doctor, or I'm sorry, that's when I went to the eye doctor. The rest of 2020, I went to multiple stores, multiple gas stations, and I did not wear a mask. I did not cover my face. I did not wear a mask. I can sneeze, cough, and fart with the best of them, and I'm still here today. And I do have underlying issues. And I am getting up there in age. I will be 50 years old in May. So when Rona first came out, I was 48. I'm 49 now, and I'll be 50 in May. And I'm still here. I'm still here. Here's the thing. All the people that were going to pass of Rona pretty much passed, in my opinion, before the vaccine was out there. Every other vaccine, we have a choice on whether we take it or not. Every other vaccine, our kids have a choice. Now they're trying to sneak vaccinate your kids, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because they've been sneak giving abortion your kids for years. So if you've got a daughter and she is over the age of 12, in some states, they will give her an abortion without your consent. They will give her an abortion without your permission, without your consent, without your knowledge. They will give her an abortion. They will rip her unborn fetus out of her uterus and send her home to you to figure out what's wrong with her. They will not notify you. They will not contact you. They will not acknowledge you if you call them. Yet, and research this, people, because this is a real deal. Yet, if something happens to her after she gets aborted, gets an abortion, the doctor who gave her that abortion, the doctor who ripped her unborn fetus out of her uterus, is not liable. You as her parents are liable. Because why didn't you know she was pregnant? Why didn't you watch her? Why didn't you know she was pregnant? Why didn't you take care of her? They just ripped a fetus out of your 12, 13-year-old child's uterus, and she laid in your house that night after she had an abortion that day and bled to death in her bed overnight, and you get to wake up to your precious daughter deceased in her bed, and you don't know why. You don't know why she bled to death. And It's not the doctor's job to tell you, according to them. According to them. Now, that's not my words. That's according to them in some states. And do you think I'm bullshitting? If you're in the U.S., I would suggest checking the laws in the state of Illinois and Missouri. Now, that's states that are local to me. You might want to check your own local states and find out. Now, I said that to say this. Any child who is over the age of 12, who is 12 and over, has the right to get the Rona shot without you as the parent's permission or consent. And I believe that right now is in 50 states. Your 12-year-old child has the right to get a shot. They can go to their school, and the school will set it up where they can get vaccinated without your consent. And should your precious child get the Rona shot during school hours and then come home and go to bed, and you wake up in the morning and your precious son or daughter, 12 years old, laying dead in their childhood bed, and you're home, you go to wake them up the next morning for school, and they're ice cold to the touch, they're gone. Nobody's liable. Now, the school board and the doctor or the nurse, whoever decided to vaccinate your child with the Rona shot, whoever decided to show up, whoever set up the appointment, whoever showed up and injected your child with God knows what, because we don't know what's in the Rona shot. It's a blank freaking paper. They won't tell you what's in it because they don't even know. But they inject this crap into your child. And so now your precious child is dead. Because you know why? They didn't bother to contact you and let you know that they were about to vaccinate your child, so you could go, no. Don't vaccinate my child. Hold up. My child is allergic to. My child has anaphylactic reactions to. Please don't vaccinate my child because my child is allergic and will have an adverse reaction to the ingredients in the vaccination. You don't get that opportunity. You don't get that chance. It's a screw you deal, parents. You don't get to decide or inform or acknowledge your child having allergic reaction or allergic to an ingredient or allergic to metal or allergic to plastic or allergic to the needle itself that's being injected into. We won't even talk about the Rona shot. Your child could simply be allergic to latex. And I have reactions. I have allergic reactions to latex, certain brands and certain types of latex. Like the nurse will put on a glove and I'm like, nope, not that one. I'm allergic. You know, you don't even get the respect of being that child's parent who you, as that child's parent or guardian or caretaker or whatever, you would have the exclusive knowledge of what this child could possibly be allergic to, and they're not going to ask you. And 9 out of 10, a lot of children don't themselves know. A lot of 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, they don't pay attention to their medical history, and you don't expect them to. That's why they have parents. That's why they have adult parents who have followed them their entire 11, 12 years, and they know exactly that this child is allergic to that, that child will react to that, that child will fart, sneeze, and cough over that. They don't ask you. They don't want your opinion. They don't care about your opinion. They don't give two craps of your opinion. If your child unknowingly goes, hey, yeah, I'll take it, butter it up. And then tomorrow morning, you go to wake your precious child up and they're cold to the touch. I don't even know if they're obligated to tell you that your child was vaccinated. Which brings me to a whole nother situation. They're talking about getting vaccine passports and vaccine acknowledgement cards, I guess we'll call them. How the hell is your child who's sneakily vaccinated going to get that card without you knowing? And here's another question. Suppose that, let's just say little Johnny got vaccinated at school without his parents' consent, and he comes home and he goes to bed, and let's just say little Johnny doesn't pass at home. Let's just say he goes into a delayed anaphylactic reaction. So now it is, let's just say little Johnny got home from school at 4:30 in the evening. It is now 8 o'clock in the evening. And little Johnny is getting ready for bed. And all of a sudden, he just starts having this delayed reaction where he is projectile vomiting, severe diarrhea. Next thing you know, he's getting dehydrated. You rush into the hospital. The doctor goes, tell me what's wrong so we know how to treat him, and you go. So, they don't know how to treat him because they don't know he's vaccinated. And when they ask you, the parent, is little Johnny vaccinated? You go, oh, no. And so they start treating little Johnny with whatever means are necessary. Let's just say they give him an EpiPen, because in their minds he's having an allergic reaction to something. He's having an anaphylactic reaction. And so they give him an Epi. The Epi interacts with the vaccine little Johnny just got 8 hours, 6, 7 hours ago, and dies. He dies right there at the hospital. Nobody knows why. Because nobody bothered to tell the parents that little Johnny was vaccinated at school earlier that day. It's just something to think on. I mean, it's the thought for the day, and I'm not against people, adults, getting vaccinated if that's what they want to do. And I'm not against adults getting their kids vaccinated. Adults have been getting their kids vaccinated for centuries because, their kids attend public school. That's great. Personally, my kids have not been vaccinated because they did not go to public school. So let me just tell you, I'm not sitting here saying don't get the Rona because I'm against the Rona vaccination. I've never forced my kids to get vaccinated. And I've let them know throughout the years growing up that, hey, if you ever decide to travel outside of the country, you might have to get your passport and get everything together 6 months to a year before you go, because you don't have any of these vaccinations, and you might have to get that crap before you go off to Zimbabwe, Isle of King, you know? So my kids know they're not vaccinated. They have not been vaccinated. I didn't force that on them. I've never been a believer in vaccinations, and yet here we all are, you know? I mean, people go, oh my God, you medically neglected those poor children. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. They had doctors. They had pediatricians over the years. They've had dentists over the years. They've had they have the same dentist that now that they're 18, 19, and 30. I mean, my kids are 18, 19, look, hold on. 18, 19, I'm getting old, guys. 18, 19, 30, and 25. And I just want to say that, honestly, my kids have not had health issues over the years. I've been so blessed. I have one daughter who does suffer with a very mild case of epilepsy, and she was medically treated for that, and she does take medication to help with the seizures. And I have a son who is on the autism level, spectrum, and he does not take medication for that. And then I have my grandson, who is like a son to me because I'm raising him, and he is on the autism spectrum, and he does not take medication for that. And then I have an 18-year-old son who's doing just great in life, and he's not on medication for anything. And then I have a 30-year-old daughter who takes different medications for different things. She has joint pains that she suffers with, and dental, corrective dental surgery, and things of that nature. And so I'm not saying that I'm against medical care. I'm not saying, that my kids have not been treated for, they've never been to a doctor. No, that's not what I'm saying. I have consulted with my doctor. I have consulted with their doctors over the years, and I came to an educated, informed decision that I was not going to impose vaccinations on my children, and I never did. Now, I totally believe in and with the whole mantra of my body, my choice. That is great. I totally 100% agree with that, and I'm on board with that. And if my children decide that they want to go get the vaccine, it's not my choice, but I would support and uphold them in that choice if that's what they want to do. If they want to go get the Rona vaccine, then I would support them in that, even though, like I said, it's not really a choice I would make for them. But my children are adult children at this point, and so I can't make their choices for them. But I can support them in the choices they make. And I would suggest to them to be fully informed about this or any other vaccination before you make a choice. And if they get fully informed about it and they still make that choice to go get it, then I'm on board with them. I will support them and acknowledge that that's their choice 100%. But I think I think that our government giving us medical advice is overstepping their bounds. And a lot of what's going on, I totally feel like it's just political, and none of it's medical, none of it's real science. Not, come to me and tell me that you're okay with someone being gay, lesbian, transgender. That's great. I don't have a problem with your choices. Again, your body, your choice. You do what you want. Don't force it on me. Don't come and tell me that if I don't believe that Jim is a girl just because Jim put on a dress, that I'm wrong and it's hateful and it's terrible. You're a horrible person because you don't acknowledge Jim is Jeanette. I'm sorry, I live here in reality, and that's just, it's nothing personal. It's not hateful. It's not deceitful. It's not, I'm trying to be an ass. It's not, I'm discriminating against you. It's just, here in reality, Jim is wearing a dress, is still a guy. It's just a guy in a dress. I don't understand how me being in reality and me acknowledging the facts, I don't understand how that is so politically incorrect now, and how it's wrong, and how it's hateful. So if I don't teach my kids to lie, then I'm a hateful parent. If I don't allow the school board to teach them this CRT bullcrap, this critical race theory, then I'm a hateful person. And apparently now, the FBI can haul you away if you don't bow down and cow down and agree to the fact that Jim is now Jeanette just because Jim put on a dress. I just don't get it. Back in the day, we were taught not to lie. Back in the day, you couldn't walk into a bank, a grocery store, a gas station, or any other place of business with a mask and a hoodie on. So now it's like we're teaching our kids the exact opposite of what we ourselves had to learn growing up, and everything we were taught was wrong. We're now teaching our kids is right, and I'm just wondering how fast. And I know I'm about to piss off a lot of people by asking this question, because so many different things were done as far as race and religion and all that stuff back in 2020. And so I'm just wondering, now that we're teaching our kids it's okay to cover your face, matter of fact, we prefer you to, and it's okay if you wear a hoodie, we prefer you to. And it's okay if you lie to your parents about getting vaccinated, because we prefer you to. How fast, Christian people, how fast are you ushering your children through the gateways of hell? Because you're teaching your children, and keep in mind, Christian people, the Bible says, "Woe unto you who turn my people from me." The children are God's. The children are the Lord's. Know this, because your Bible tells you that, to have the faith of a child. So when the Bible, every time the Bible refers to a child, it always refers to innocence. And when you are made the keeper of a child, when you are made the guardian of a child, when you are given a child to be in charge of, just remember that. And I don't care if you don't believe that. If you don't believe that, then skip this part and carry on. I don't care. But to those Christians who know, and you know you've read your Bible, you know this, woe unto you who turn my people from me. So if you're sending your kids off to school and you're turning a blind eye to them being taught all this bullshit, that's on you, man. That's completely on you. As parents, you are, you know, you're the gatekeeper for your kids. You're the one who's supposed to block the bullshit and keep them safe and keep them safeguarded. And if you're not doing your job, look, my kids are well educated and they know where I stand on vaccines. They know where I stand on religion. They know where I stand on a lot of things. And I've taught this to them over the years as they were old enough to understand different things. And you only expose them to so much at, certain ages. But my children are all grown, except for my grandson, who, for all intent and purposes, is my son because I'm raising him. And I don't see him any different than I see any of my other kids. But, I don't care if y'all want to get vaccinated. I don't care if y'all want to slap a dress on Jimmy and call him Jeanette. But don't force it on me. I'm not forcing my shit on you. I'm not making you watch this video. I'm just having a conversation of what I believe. And if you don't like it because it doesn't coincide with what you believe, click it off. Click it off. Me telling my kids a bunch of BS lies, I'm not going to do it. But if that's what you want to do and you're okay with other people doing it, then you go right ahead. If you want to tell your kids that, hey, that's not a guy, that's not a guy, that's a girl. She's just trapped in a guy's body. Man, look, you confusing the hell out of that kid, and that kid don't know what to do. That kid, I've seen shows where we're talking about transgender kids at the age of 3. I don't know. I don't think it's happening. I don't know. But anyway, here's the deal, guys. I'm not getting vexed. I'm not telling you to not to. What I am telling you is I'm to not to. But you to if you want to. You know what I'm saying, guys? I mean, seriously. I'm not getting vaccine. I'm not just the Rhonda vaccine. I'm not getting none of them. Look, I don't plan on traveling outside the country. This is my country. I love my country. I lost 2 brothers to this country. And I have a doctor. I have a family doctor. So I don't need my government giving me medical advice because I made it almost 50 years. Where was my government 48 years of my life? And if they're so worried about you and your health, how come all medical care is not free? How come they are not, how come cancer treatment isn't free? How come diabetic strips aren't free? We've got family members who are diabetic that pay literally out the ass every month for their diabetic supplies. I mean, I ride up and down the street in my neighborhood and in my town, and I see people putting up signs begging the community to give them or help them out with diabetic supplies because diabetic supplies are so damn expensive right now. I have a family member who is on, I believe, a medication called metformin and another one called Jardiance. And, we're talking $600 to $700 a month for a bottle of pills this size. Seriously, this right here, this is mine. And this is nothing more than a glorified stomach acid or Tums or, stomach remover, acid remover. And this in itself is $100 and something. So, I'm not against medication. I'm not against you doing what you and your doctor, you and your doctor deem to be a workable medical health care plan for you. At what point ever have you ever thought, oh, gee, doc, let me go consult with my political constituents because I need a second opinion? When have you ever thought, oh, gee, doc, let me go talk to my alderman, and let me go talk to my mayor, and let me go talk to, I better put in a letter to Biden, and I think I need to consult with Kamala to find out if, because I need a second opinion, and I know you're giving me a medical opinion, and I know they're political, but somehow the two meet and make sense. So I need your medical advice, but I need their political advice before I can let you treat me for that cancer. At what point does this not make any sense? At what point do I need... Why is it I need political opinion and medical opinion for the Rona, but not for my diabetes, not for my cancer, not for anything else? And why is it I get funded from the political party for my medical vaccination, but I don't get political funding for any of my other medical funding? How come that is? How come Biden and everybody else will fund my shot, but they won't fund the rest of my medical needs? I'm just throwing that out there, So anyway, I'm going to get off of here because it's been almost an hour, and I do appreciate you guys watching, and hey, give it a thumbs up or don't. I don't care. I'm going to get off of here and go make me some breakfast. I wonder if Biden would like an opinion on what kind of pot pie I have for breakfast. I don't know. He probably would. He probably wondering if he got his few cents tax off that pot pie. But anyway, guys, happy October the 10th. Happy Halloween month. Hope you have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Have a good one, guys.